All right. Don't mind my cat or my pile of laundry. I'm getting to it. So I guess I'm just gonna start from the beginning. So as I started my spiritual, faith-filled journey, I had a lot of questions and a lot of doubt, and I really struggled with where do I fit in this puzzle, I guess. So if you're anything like me, I hope this helps in some way. So, who am I? Why do you care? Who am I? My name is Rebecca. I'm 25 years old. I have two beautiful daughters, and I am on a Christian journey. So growing up, I was never really we knew about God, but never really went to church and knew the scriptures. It wasn't that kind of family. I had a pretty rough upbringing. Mom and dad, not the best people. It was just a lot. There was a lot of stuff that I went through, that my family members went through, and it just caused a lot of turmoil and stress and just, it was bad. So then when I got to a point where I was on my own, I kind of had to start making decisions for myself, and I made not great decisions, which led me down the path of, I was a stripper. I did other things. I was an OnlyFans model for quite some time. I had other jobs too. I worked at Jimmy John's for a while. I worked at a doggy daycare for a long time. But I also continued to make, sinful choices, to put it lightly, or not so lightly. And I was just going down a path that really wasn't the best for me, and I just thought that that's what my life would look like, that when you have a bad upbringing and you have a lot of factors working against you, that you can make all the bad decisions you want because you have an excuse. But through all my turmoil and stress, I would always find myself at my darkest points, going to a church. And I would just park in the parking lot, middle of the night, and I would just cry, or I would talk, or I would listen to music, and I'd just be, I don't know, alone, but in a place where I felt safe, if that makes sense. So there was always kind of this drawing factor, and it's something that ever since a little kid I had, just when I was really, really sad and I didn't know where to go or what to do, and I didn't want to be home and I didn't want to be around anyone, I would just pull into a church parking lot and I would just sit there. So I'm so sorry. So that was kind of my, just where I was at. Go to church parking lots when you're sad. Other than that, do whatever you want. Because you have the excuse of, I had a bad childhood. And so one year on Easter, my friend, I was like, I wanted to go to church, just randomly kind of. So I told my friend, I was like, what church are you going to? And she was like, oh, I'm going to the church that my parents go to. And I was like, oh, okay, care if I tag along? She was like, no, I don't care. So I went with, and I fell in love with this church. I mean, I can't even begin to describe just the fellowship and the feeling of community and love that just bursted out of this place of worship. So I continued to keep going, and I just found myself falling more and more in love with this place and wanting to get involved. And I didn't really know a lot, and it kind of scared me. I didn't know my verses, and I didn't even really know the story of the Bible. But when the pastor spoke, I was like, it resonated with me in a way that it never really had prior, like when I was a kid, or like even just like knowing, like I was never really that drawn to it until I went to this church. So I kept going there, and then some stuff happened with my daughter. I stopped kind of going to church, fell back, and then after having a really rough breakup was when I really dove into the church, started going back to church, learning all the songs, joining the groups. I joined the Alpha group, I did the women's Bible study. I started meeting with the pastor and talking with him, and at one point, I couldn't pay my rent, not all of it at least, and I didn't know what to do. I was trying to figure out who could help me. I was talking to the pastor, and he was like, please accept our money. Please accept our help. Just say yes. It's not a loan. You don't have to keep coming. You could walk away tomorrow, never see me again, and it's fine. Just take the money if you need it. So I did accept the check from them, and of course, as he said, it wasn't a loan, and I don't have to feel obligated to keep coming to the church. I felt obligated to keep coming to the church. So I did. I went every single week to my groups. I go every single week to Sunday church worship, and now me and my boyfriend go to meetings with pastor. And but during that time when he gave me the money, it was really a wake-up call, kind of seeing where I was at and how much I was struggling. And it was kind of at my lowest that I found just how unhappy I was with myself and the choices I was making. And not that they were bad, like in a sense of like, oh, you know, I hate myself for doing this. It was just kind of like me realizing like I could be doing better. I could be making, you know, better choices. So I did that day. After talking to the pastor and accepting his money, I went home. I found a different job, which was technically my old job. And as soon as I got hired for them, I shut down my OnlyFans account. Well, kind of. You can't exactly shut it down in a regular, like it's not gone that day. That's not how it works. But it is no longer active. And yeah, I just decided that I will no longer be living that lifestyle. And at that time that I was deciding to do this and shut everything down, and everything I knew of making money and how I was surviving during that time I was just dropping it all. It was very, very scary. So we were in Bible study learning about Philippians, which I still, you know, I'm not great, okay? I don't know everything. I'm not going to pretend like I do. But it's pretty much Paul's letter to the Philippians. And in it, there talks a lot about he's in prison and he's struggling and he's suffering and life is not easy. And reading that while I'm at this dark part trying to find my way to God, to Jesus, to I want to say redemption, but it's not redemption, to repentance. That's the word I was looking for. It was so important that I heard the story of someone who suffered for the Lord, that things aren't supposed to be easy, or they're not that they're not supposed to be easy. They can definitely be easy, but it's okay if they're not. That is not a guarantee that everything's okay. And in my mind, I started to realize that it's never going to be okay. Nothing is ever going to be 100% perfect and okay in the way I want them. And I would rather my life be not okay and know that I'm doing everything I can to live a sustainable, righteous, faithful life than doing whatever I want and still struggling and having this guilt, my pastor, you know, references it as godly sorrow in my heart. So that's where I am. Or at least that's where I was maybe like a month and a half ago. I gave up everything that I knew. everything that I knew was wrong. And I still struggle with a lot of things, don't get me wrong. I am still making grand mistakes every other day. But when I first started going to church, as much as I loved the church I went to and I felt so welcomed and loved in this feeling of community, I still felt like the outsider. I still felt like the person, like a lot of the people that I talk to at my church, they know their Bible verses and they know the stories, and they have this, the way they look at the world is just so foreign to me. It's with this, I mean, it's just with hope and love, and it's just not, I'm not there yet, but that's where I want to be. It's that pull that I see them and I desire to be that. I desire to feel that and to be a part of that. And it's what keeps me going. So no, I'm not perfect, and I still make a lot of mistakes, but it's something that I'm striving for. And that feeling of I don't belong here, am I worth saving, is kind of subsiding. And I'm finally finding my place with him. And I'm still not sure what it is. I still have my questions, my doubts, my judgments, and it's something I'm going to continue to work on. And I don't know. I really struggled when I first started going to church, like finding my place and, you know, thinking about like the judgment from other people, and like I'm 25 with 2 kids from different dads, and I mean, how do I look going to church? You know, like a lot of people would like laugh at me, or they would be like, you need it more than anyone else. It made it kind of hard to fully like give myself and be unashamed of the person I want to become. Not that I'm anywhere near what I want to be yet, but I don't know. If you're on a journey, if you're on a spiritual, faith-filled journey like me, just keep going. Even if you don't know what you're going to. That's where I'm at. I decided to just follow. And I'm hoping in following and learning that one day I get there. And I'm not sure when, and I'm not sure how, but I will continue to just blindly follow. Because that's all I can give right now. That's all I have. That's all I have. I really don't have much else to give. But yeah, I guess that's just what I wanted to say. That's just where I'm at, and I'm not gonna pretend like I'm perfect. I have done terrible things. I have lived a life that is definitely not with God in the center or Jesus in the center. But it does make it okay. But I'm finding a way forward. And I hope that helps someone. I'm waiting for the point where all this feels normal and right. I'm not there yet. I want to feel like I have a purpose and that I'm fulfilling that purpose. And I'm just going to keep going, keep following, keep doing the things that I'm supposed to do until it all falls into place and feels balanced. So that's where I'm at. That's how I got here to where I am today. And I hope I get to look back on this video one day and be like, wow, she was ridiculous. But yeah, I hope this helps somebody. I hope you guys have similar feelings sometimes, so I don't feel so crazy, because sometimes I'll be feeling a little crazy. But I'm going to go clean my house, and make some dinner.